Hey friend, Erin Chase here. You're watching or maybe listening to the Erin Chase Show, where we chat all things intentional living and trying to find that ever elusive balance of our busy, sometimes, mostly, all the time, overwhelming lives. I'm your host, Erin Chase, and today I want to talk about setting yourself up for success in the kitchen. And I'm really stoked to be talking about this with you because I think it's just one of those really simple things, but I think it's important having a conversation about it. So that is what we are going to do today. How this works is we stream live here on Facebook, and then I will take this live streamed episode, the video, and put it onto YouTube later in the week. And then we take the audio version and share it onto your favorite podcast players. And one of the things that we do on Facebook Live sometimes doesn't translate to YouTube. We do have the information in the description and also in the podcast player. If you hear me say something that doesn't apply to a podcast player, just check the show notes. You can do that by kind of, well, at least on an Apple, you swipe and look up. And if you're watching live, you can, or the video, you'll catch a glimpse of my sweet Daisy. I think she is about to take a little nap there, right over my shoulder here. So thank you for joining me. I'm really excited about this topic. The idea here is getting your kitchen set up for success. So you just have things when you need them, both ingredients and gadgets. I missed you last week. I don't know if I had pink eye or something was going on. So things were just not looking great on my eyes. So I didn't want to come here and have a scary eye video. And I thought, you know what? The things I was going to talk about last week and this week, I'll just merge them into one episode. And that's what we're doing here today. So we're going to be sharing about gadgets and resources and tools and ingredients that you should have in your kitchen to set yourself up for success. And being one step ahead. I think I really try to do my best to stay one step ahead, not just in the kitchen, but in other areas of life as well. And you'll hear that theme woven throughout the different episodes of the Erin Chase Show, either the episodes from the past, seasons 1 through 3 that we've already released on the podcast players and on YouTube. The other thing is you'll hear it woven throughout. And it's just really about being intentional and being prepared and having things kind of set in there for yourself. In the kitchen specifically is what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to be talking about ingredients and products, basically. Gadgets, if you will. I have gadgets. I'm going to show you these. If you're listening on the podcast, then I'm going to do my best to explain what they are and why I like them. And I'm going to talk about the importance of keeping these things organized and why that really matters, because it just makes our cooking experiences better. And I'm going to give you an idea and a tip for how you can get all this going in your own kitchen. We're going to get into that with my PIE acronym and Think, Feel, Take Action, which we include in every episode. So first, I want to start with this. One of the things that I've talked about in the past, I think it was 1 or 2 episodes ago, was freezer cooking. And I'm going to share some freezer cooking gadgets with you today. And I also want you to know about our 5 ingredient challenge that we have happening right now. The sign up is happening right now, which is why I'm sharing it here with you on this live video on our Dinner Made Easy show this week, which will be on Thursday. I'm going to prep some of these freezer meals live for you so that you can be equipped and ready to do that in your own kitchen. If you want to join the challenge, you can type the word 5, F-I-V-E, spelled out. If you're watching the live video, you can do this on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link will be in the comments below or in the description below, but 5 F-I-V-E into the comments. And I will message you the information about the challenge that we have happening. Quick side note, just wanted to mention it since that is what is happening right now live. So being prepared, being one step ahead. I think it's really important to do this because it helps you avoid takeout. If you have some pantry staple ingredients that you can mix and match together to create a meal, then you don't have to spend $52 at Chick-fil-A. And yes, that's how much my family spends when we go through the Chick-fil-A drive-thru. Don't do it very often. I try to avoid it at all costs. Okay. I'm not opposed to drive-thru. I'm not opposed to takeout. I'm not opposed to eating out. I think all of those things are amazing. We need a break. But if our budget does not allow it, I can't just go spend $52 at Chick-fil-A when I don't feel like cooking or when I'm not prepared or I'm missing an ingredient. I'm going to figure out something else. Even if it's breakfast for dinner, the occasional, which actually this rarely happens at our house, cereal for dinner. Those things are okay. That's better than going and spending $52 or $40 or whatever it was. For a long time, it was $42. Now we're up to $52. These growing teenage boys, I tell you what, listen. Anyways, those things are planned and part of our food budget, but when it comes down to it, if I don't feel like cooking or I'm missing something, I need to have other options there. One, we've talked about freezer meals before, but also just the right ingredients in your pantry to mix up side dishes, the right ingredients in your freezer to mix up, or, to steam broccoli. You've got frozen broccoli or green beans. You've got them there to keep you, to help you, I should say, keep from caving for calling for takeout or one of the food delivery services that you pay, 20% on markup on to get it delivered to you. That 20% can go a long way. This isn't meant to be a personal finance lesson, but sometimes it inevitably ends up being that way because we can do a lot with that money. Our food dollars, and I've shared this before here on the show, but I'll say it again. It's not a little soapbox. Our food dollars are the dollars that really are easiest to control. We're locked into, lease or rent or mortgage, like our phone bills are our phone bills. You might be able to call and negotiate once a year, every other year. But really most of our expenses are fixed. The one fixed expense of food really is quite variable if you're willing to put in a little work and cook at home when you don't feel like it, or pull something out of the pantry or freezer when you don't feel like it. So I wanted to share a couple of ingredients that I think work really well for just being able to throw together a meal that are pantry or freezer staple friendly. So most of these you probably already have in your pantry, and I want you to share your ideas here as well if you have them. So intermixed in with typing in the word 5 into the comments, there's going to also be some probably ingredients. So I want you to tell me what is something that you always have in your pantry or your freezer. The fridge is a little harder because we rotate through the fridge a little bit more often, but something that's going to be able to last 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 weeks or longer in the pantry or freezer. I want you to share what those things are. And maybe if you want to go above and beyond, type in like what you do with those things. So I'm going to just start with a couple that we have, and we'll do ingredients first, and maybe I'll throw in a couple meal ideas. I'm a big fan of mix and match, being able to just kind of throw different types of ingredients together to be able to come up with a meal. I think the same happens with my closet as well. I'm a big fan of kind of mixing and matching colors and textures for just different outfits. I feel like that's something that we've really not had to do much of this last year. So I'm excited that as we kind of emerge from our homes and getting to go places where we get to put on cute outfits, that it's very similar. I don't know if it's just that's my personality or brain or whatever, but just kind of mixing and matching ingredients. So let's think, let's start in pantry thinking canned items. So canned items are really great because they can make all kinds of different things, chilies and soups and stews and the base of those things. You can use them to mix up sauces for pasta. So first thing that comes to mind is any tomato. I would have a variety of types of canned tomato products. So that's going to be paste, sauce, diced, petite diced, crushed, whole even. I make a mean salsa. It's actually on the website. Restaurant style salsa on the website with, it's actually one of my, it's a copycat restaurant salsa recipe that came down from my grandmother through my mom and now to me. And so that's really great. It's on the blog. That's whole peeled tomatoes is the base of that. And you blend it up with a couple of other just simple spices. So any tomato products, any beans are going to be fabulous. I like to have a variety: pinto, black, red kidney, white northern, garbanzo even, making some like a chickpea salad or something like that. So having a wide variety of beans is really helpful. Of course, dried beans works as well too. I personally do dried beans in larger batches. If I'm going to be cooking them, either for a larger gathering or, I love to do pinto beans in the Instant Pot, just the way that the flavor gets infused with the jalapenos and the peppers and the cilantro that gets added in that I cook it with. Anyways, this episode might end up making me more hungry than I thought it was going to, and you too. Okay, so tomatoes, beans. I also like to keep canned coconut milk in my pantry because I love a good curry. Curries are also a really great, you know, kind of catch-all. You can beef, shrimp, salmon, chicken, pork, even with whatever vegetables. That's kind of like, they're not soup. I don't think of curry as soup, but it kind of has the soupy consistency. But those are really great for kind of catching all different types of ingredients. And so I like to have canned coconut milk. I personally mix coconut cream, the sugar-free, sugarless version of coconut cream, not the stuff you make your pina coladas with. Okay, not that stuff, but it's canned coconut cream and canned coconut milk. 1 can of each is kind of the base of the curry. And then you mix in the other ingredients and protein and whatever you want for your curry. So that's one of the other things that I love to keep. So I'm seeing some comments. You guys, oops, sorry. Thanks for sharing. Let me zoom back out. I use my phone to zoom the camera. It's this new little setup I have. So other pantries and staples are obviously going to be baking, you know, sugar, bread, flour. If you're regularly making bread, a yeast bread, having yeast, I keep my yeast in my freezer. It just lasts a lot longer that way. It stays active for longer. Let's see, of course, rices, pastas, lentils, just having a different variety of those things makes it easier for you to mix up whatever it is you're going to mix up for dinner. And then, of course, spices, having a wide range of spices, you know, from Italian to Mexican to Indian, whatever your favorite flavors are, just making sure that you have plenty of stock of those. And of course, like onions and garlic and things like that. So all of those things I just shared, I think we could probably make like 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, 100 meals out of just the way that you can mix and match different things together. And then of course you throw in protein, you know, beef, chicken, pork, all of that, then you get into lots of different ways that you can mix in. So those are some ideas for your pantry. For your freezer, having a steady stock of vegetables is really great. Mixed vegetables you can put into like a soup or a curry or chili, just regular vegetables that you can steam for side dishes. I like to keep different types of potatoes in there as well, whether that's kind of pre-made or pre-cut fries or like hash browns, tater tots, those types of things. Is just having quick side options. If you are into the air fryer craze, those things are fabulous for easy and fast to cook in your air fryer. So keep sharing pantry staples and what you like to make with them. I just think it's really important to have these things there for you. So keep us hungry. Keep sharing in the comments what you like to make with your pantry and freezer staples. It's just, I feel like when you have, at least for me, when you have these things there, then it just helps you avoid that. Like, I know I can go find something in the freezer, or I know whether it's a freezer meal that I've pre-cooked or pre-prepped. Sorry, I don't generally cook freezer meals. I generally prep them and then cook them later. So whether it's a freezer meal or it's the side dish, the broccoli, green beans, cauliflower rice, if you're eating keto or paleo or Whole30 or low carb, that's a great thing to keep in your freezer. You can just grab little portions, meal portions worth to cook that up. So those are some ideas there. I just really like that it creates kind of the options, the flexibility. It keeps me out of the drive-through. Yes, I do go through the drive-through, but these, not all the time, actually not that often at all. But it helps me reduce that sort of temptation. And then ultimately it just reduces your overall food spending. I often give in-person workshops. And one of the things I say is if you need to find $100 this week, it's in your pantry and in your freezer. Now you might end up with kind of an odd meal where you're like, maybe I wouldn't necessarily have put those couple things together. But that's okay. You have the variety there for you. A couple other quick things that are freezer friendly that if you're not going to get to them or you want to make sure to eat them later, you know, shredded cheese, tortillas. Because they're already sliced, I just stick them in the bag, right in a bread, right into the freezer. So then you can grab those when you need them, let them thaw out, you know, overnight. And then you can use them the next day with whatever the meal is. So there's a couple more ingredients to really widen the options of meals that you're going to be making. Okay. So that's the food side. Now with keeping these things organized, I'm going to use organization as my segue between ingredients to gadgets. I think it's really crucial that you make sure that these that your pantry or your cupboards or your cabinets, wherever you're keeping your food, is really well organized, because that's going to help you with your meal planning. That's going to help you know what you have. That's going to help you know what you need. And just keeping it all nice and fresh and organized it just gives you that picture of like, okay, I can go probably right now and look and have at least 5 to 6 meals in the pantry. And then I probably have like 20 in the freezer, right? So that's like almost an entire month of meals that I could probably make. Granted, I have a lot of the freezer meals kind of pre-prepped, but I have the side dishes I would need to go with them. So there's a lot that I have in there. So I think keeping it organized helps you, when it comes down to time to write your meal plan or look and see what other things you need to kind of restock up on, or like I'm getting low on canned tomatoes or I'm running out of rice. Whatever those things are, it's easy for you to see that and keep track of that because you have it well organized. And I think the same thing goes with your gadgets. So we're going to totally switch gears here. And now we're going to be talking about gadgets. So the reason I wanted to talk about this is because it kind of goes along with, the just must have things. It's going to help keep things smooth in your kitchen. And I actually taught this workshop this last week at an event in Austin. And I'm going to share just a snippet of that with you here. And I think it's really important to think about, we think about keeping our ingredients organized, and it's really important for our gadgets and our pots and pans and our bowls and all of those things to also be really well organized in our kitchen. And that gets to be challenging because I'm not the only person who lives in this house. I've got my husband is a great dish master. He's like the dish master. Like, I'm a cook, he does the dishes. Like, we've got that kind of figured out. But when we have the other kids in helping with chores and helping with dishes and unloading the dishwasher and loading the dishwasher and just keeping the physical contents of our kitchen, it moves fast, especially this last year when we're eating at home so much more. There's like double the amount of dishes. And I think we all felt that this last year of like, how do these stay organized and flow through your kitchen, right? Gadgets, plates, silverware, cups. Yeah. Okay. So it's really important that we keep these things organized as well, because I think that the dishes is kind of the foundation, and then the cooking is on top of that. So when things aren't in the right place, or the dishes get too backlogged and we need this pot or we need this skillet, it's really important that we stay on track with those things and stay one step ahead with the physical, like gadgets and pots and pans and plates in our kitchens. And so what we do at our house, I want to share this with you because I think it could be really helpful, because we have literally 6 cooks in the kitchen at some point during the week. Look at Daisy in the corner. She's going to have her little nap. The thing that is super crucial is that everything has a home in the kitchen. It's really important that things live in the same place, especially when we have as many people in and out of the kitchen, in and out of the dishwasher, in and out of the cooking and all of that. I think it's just crucial. And I've actually kind of taken the strategy of thinking about my kitchen as if it were a restaurant kitchen. I know that sounds kind of strange, but like in a restaurant, you have different shifts of people. You have lots of different people moving in and out of a restaurant, and things just need to go back to where they are, because it just reduces that frustration. We're like, where is this thing? I need to grab it quickly so that I can do the next cooking task, and it's not there. Then you have to start hunting for it. And then, whatever. You get it. You know what I'm talking about. Those things can be irksome, and enough of those little irksome things, and then we have a not so happy cook in the kitchen, right? And so I think it's just really important that everything has a home and everybody knows where those homes are. So when we moved back into our house, actually it's been almost a year after a flood and having to renovate and move out for 6 months and drama. So when we moved back in, I kind of got everything where I thought it should be with the way that our kitchen functions. And we did like a tour. Literally, we went through drawer by drawer and we looked and see where everything goes. And it really just makes it easier for the kids to know where things are supposed to go. And then if they're not sure, they're unloading dishwasher, then they'll ask. It's just made our kitchen flow a lot more smoothly. Okay. So I just wanted to share that with you quickly. Gadgets that I think I always have in my kitchen. The ones that I use the most is probably a better title here. The things that I use the most, obviously, are going to be, your spoons, slotted spoons, big spoons, mixing spoons, wooden spoons, of course, measuring cups. And I like the pourable measuring cups for, there's glass ones and I think plastic ones. Silicone, no, they're plastic. I like the pourable ones for liquids. And then, of course, the scoop around ones for baking. Those are super crucial. This is silicone plastics type. This is silicone spatula. I probably use these on the daily. This guy, it's a chopster. Punch the camera. Don't mind me. This is awesome for browning ground beef, mixing up meatloaf, things like that. Browning breakfast sausage. Breakfast sausage has a tendency to really stick together. So this guy does a really great job of getting that loose and free. Of course, oven mitts. We have larger cloth oven mitts, but I've switched to these mostly just because they're easier to use. And they're also easier for the kids to manage because they're pinch mitts and they're better for their little hands. And yes, they are fun to play with. Okay. These are our bag holders. So imagine a Ziploc bag here. I meant to grab one and I didn't. These hold open your freezer meals when you're doing prep. So we have these available in our store for a set of 2 because we do 2 meals at a time. So that is definitely something I use on the daily. I'm actually going to be using them tomorrow and I will be using them on Thursday for our Dinner Made Easy show. I have a big prep tomorrow and then I will be showing you just a little 4 or 6 meals, I think is what we're going to do on our Dinner Made Easy show. So I'll be definitely using these. They're so handy for keeping your bags open. If you type in the word 5, F-I-V-E, like that. If you're seeing that backwards, I apologize. It's mirrored, I think, but type that into the comments and I will message you where to find these in our store and also how to sign up for our challenge. We have a free challenge that's happening next week. I'm going to tell you lots more about that on Thursday at our Dinner Made Easy show, but I wanted to share a little bit about that with you now while we were here together live going over our favorite ingredients and gadgets to have in the kitchen. So now we come to the pie part of the episode. Plan, implement, evaluate. I want you to make a list of maybe some of the things I shared here today or some of the things that you thought of. Like, I really wish that I had this. I don't love to have all the things. I'm a wannabe minimalist is what I like to say, but I also really like to have what I need to use in the kitchen. So if there's an area of the home I'm not a minimalist, it's going to be the kitchen. So make a list of things that maybe you want to get and then figuring out how you can fit that into your budget. Also, other things that you need to stock up on in your pantry, like make a quick plan of those things that you need to do. And then of course, plan, implement. So when your budget allows, get the new gadget, get a couple more of the different ingredients that you need to have for your pantry and freezer so that you have those options for your mixing and matching. And then of course, evaluate is what's missing? Did you think of another gadget later on down the road? What's something else you can do? So I love the PIE acronym, plan, implement, evaluate, because it just kind of helps you kind of I don't know. I feel like it's this sort of cyclical forward momentum when you plan, implement, evaluate, not only for this, but just in other areas of your life. And so PIE is my acronym for that intentional living, for that, the goal that we have of kind of finding that balance and setting ourselves up for success, which is kind of what this episode here is about. Think, feel, take action is just it's a little bit of a framework, I guess, of the way we can think about something so that determines how we feel about it. And that determines the action that we'll take. So the first is I want you to think flexibility, being able to mix and match. And then I also want you to think organization, having things in the places they're supposed to be in your kitchen so that your kitchen operates and runs smoothly. I know my kitchen is like the HQ of our house and it's got to run smoothly if we want to have a nice dinner experience. So think flexibility, think organization. That's going to then help you feel more confident and feel more efficient. And then finally, when it comes to taking action, making that list of those handfuls of ingredients you need to restock up on, and any little gadgets that you think would be useful for having in your kitchen. So that's that. Ingredients and gadgets. Setting yourself up for success in the kitchen is the name of today's game here on this episode of the Erin Chase Show. So what I want you to do, if you have not yet, you can sign up for our challenge. So type the word 5 into the comments if you're watching here on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube or listening into your podcast player, you should see the challenge link in the description below or in the show notes. So be sure to check that out. That challenge is happening live next week, the week of May 2nd or 3rd. In my kitchen and in your kitchen, it's a challenge that happens virtually. I will walk you through every step of that via email and via our Freezer Cooking Facebook group. So be sure to check that out. And finally, please subscribe to the Erin Chase Show wherever you're listening. You can get notifications on Facebook. You can get notifications on, I think you hit the bell on YouTube. And then, of course, you can subscribe in your favorite podcast player. We syndicate it out to a number of the different podcast players. So you can check those out there. We are live on Tuesday afternoons around 2 o'clock Central Time. I was a couple minutes late today. Trying to get the puppy settled, but we're on in the afternoon, and then everything, the replays all hit their different players come Friday morning. So that is all for this week, my friend. It's bye for now, and I will see you this Thursday for the Dinner Made Easy show on Facebook Live here on the $5 Dinners Facebook page, and of course next week for the next episode of the Erin Chase Show.